All right, before we dive into our trending story, Dr. G wants to clear something up real quick.
I called today Martin Luther King's birthday day, and Vanessa appropriately straightened me out that it's a remembrance of Martin Luther King near his birthday.
Yes.
And I defended myself by saying, when I grew up, Presidents' Days were actually on their birthday, and so that got in my head, even though now Presidents' Days are not on their birthdays, just like Martin Luther King Day is not on his birthday, so I will never make that mistake again. But it's near his birthday to remember. Yeah, but then I won't make anything of it. Don't worry, it'll still be a remembrance. Anyway, we more want to talk about the Machete Man, which was the quick fix that Leanne brought in for Judy to comment on. Apparently, you know how they can get those bilateral frontal lobe orbital frontal injuries, and he had complete dysregulation and no social impulse control and that kind of thing. And he attacked a guy with a machete. And he had a neuropsychologist. The question these guys were asking is why weren't they doing something? Why did he get so out of line? What's your theory?
Well, I mean, as you mentioned, once you have damage there, I mean, people don't realize that it's not just some of the cognitive functions, your complete personality change. I mean, remember back in the day, has everybody heard about Phineas Gage?
Phileas Gage.
Phileas Gage.
That's why I was referencing that.
Yeah.
It's a guy who had a rail spike go through his eye and right frontal.
Through the orbital frontal cortex.
It was right frontal, right? Yeah, right frontal, right through here, and it went chapoo, and the guy survived it. And he walked, and he afterwards he was sort of okay. He was sick for a few days, and he was okay. And he seemed like a little subdued, but basically himself. And then gradually
the personality, and everybody would just
someone?
No.
He could have. People talked about it as a total asshole.
Well, yes.
They described him as a terrible person.
That's right.
Yeah, he became just a different guy, sociopath.
And everybody talked about that. That before he was like this very mild-mannered, sweet guy, and after this injury, slowly but surely, he just deteriorated to kind of, like you said, like a bit of a psychopath, very rude, anger problems. I mean, just totally physically violent.
So, dumb question, but could he have been like that before?
No,
could
he
have
like this massive, it happened like
lose your
slowly?
filter.
No, can it happen like this? Because if it happened slowly, wouldn't people notice?
No.
And
Here's what I'm confused about, because clearly he was seeing this neuropsychologist regularly, because the neuropsychologist has come to his defense and said, listen, he had PTSD, he had this heightened fight or flight that he couldn't turn off.
PTSD.
That's what the neuropsychologist. So do you think he was misdiagnosed?
There probably is a misdiagnosis, and there might
or
have
an
been
overlay of PTSD, but the fact that he gets so crazy is from the damage.
Right, and I think there's a lot of people who are neuropsychologists who still don't understand, like, just the way that somebody deteriorates can take years sometimes.
So let's address that. So he started. He was a manager. Everybody loved him. He was super smart. Phileas Gage, we're talking about.
Well, no, the other guy too.
This guy too, which is interesting. And so Phileas was this amazing, guy that was a sort of the social center, and very, very much of a rich social life. Who, after this injury, we think that there's the initial cut, and then there's what's called gliosis, which is a progressive scarring and breakdown of the tissue that makes for more and more and more trouble.
So what can you do? Could he eventually be back to his loving, sweet self?
No.
Does he have to be institutionalized?
No. Maybe.
Yes, it's possible. And then the personality goes, then the cognitive functions go, memories go, and so it's all. But personality changes actually usually happen first. You usually see that a little bit before some of the cognitive decline.
So this Machete Man, this isn't even his rock bottom. Like, it could be worse for him.
He's in jail now.
Oh, yeah,
But
exactly.
then the personality
Yeah.
will still continue to deteriorate. And I'm sure he's not going to get what he needs in jail.
No, that's what my point was on the show. It's actually a really sad story. Any of us could be a victim to one of these accidents. And then what?
Right.
So
sad.
What do we ask people online to give us their own quick fixes? What stories?
What's trending that they saw? That's good.
Oh, that's a good idea. This was a part of our new segment called Click Fix, where our panel brings in what's on their feed, what's blowing up their feed. So let us know what stories you're seeing out there. That'd be great.